Letters across the years, a father's journey to reconnect. The room is dimly lit, the soft glow of a single candle flickering as an old man sits at his wooden desk. His hands, weathered with time, carefully grip a pen as he writes. He pauses, staring at the blank page, as if gathering the courage to pour out his thoughts. The silence is broken only by the scratching of the pen against the paper. "I don't know if you'll ever read this," he writes, his trembling voice breaking the stillness. "But I need to say it. I miss you. Every day I miss you." He gently sets the pen down, carefully folds the letter, and slides it into an envelope. On the cover, only one word: "To my daughter." With a sigh, he places it on top of an already growing stack of letters in a wooden box. The camera zooms in, revealing dozens of envelopes, each dated and stacked chronologically. Years ago, an argument tore them apart. Through a series of flashbacks, we see glimpses of their estranged relationship. Sharp words exchanged, her storming out of the house, the front door slamming shut. He wanted to call her back, to apologize, but his pride held him back. That was the day she left, and she never returned. Now sitting alone in his quiet home, regret haunts him. "Why didn't I stop her?" he whispers to himself. But despite the pain, his love for her has never wavered. This is where his journey of letters begins, a decision to use words to reach her heart, even from afar. The letters begin as expressions of guilt and longing. "I should have been better," one letter reads. "I should have listened to your side." Another speaks of his wish to see her again. "I wonder where you are now. Are you safe? Are you happy?" As years pass, the letters grow deeper, revealing not just his regret, but his hopes for her. "Whatever you're doing, I pray you find joy in it," he writes in one. Another touches on fond memories of her childhood. "I remember how your laughter used to fill this house. That laughter kept me going, even on my hardest days." Seasons change, and time moves forward. The people sees the passage of years through subtle visual cues, a family photo collecting dust on the mantel, trees blooming and shedding leaves outside his window, the old man growing frailer with each passing season. Yet his commitment to the ritual of writing never fades. Every year, another envelope is added to the box. Meanwhile, his daughter's presence is felt only in her absence. While he writes, the scenes cut to her life, a woman moving through the motions of her daily routine in another town. We see her sitting at her desk, staring at her phone, struggling to decide whether to call home. She hesitates, then puts the phone down, leaving the connection unmade. Letters are sent, but they are never answered. The father holds out hope, even as the camera lingers on unopened envelopes scattered across her apartment. Despite the silence, he continues to write. A young sapling planted in the father's garden grows into a tall tree over the years, symbolizing his undying hope. A dusty old clock on the wall ticks steadily, mirroring the persistence of time and his unwavering love. His patience and unwavering love grow strong over the years. One day, years later, the daughter receives unexpected news. The old man has fallen ill. Cautiously, she returns to her childhood home, memories flooding back as she walks through the door. It feels both familiar and distant. As she explores the quiet house, she stumbles upon the wooden box, carefully placed on the desk where her father always wrote. Curiosity gets the better of her, and she opens it. What she finds leaves her breathless. She sits down, tears welling in her eyes, as she begins to read the letters one by one. The father's voice narrates excerpts, heartfelt apologies, words of encouragement, and his undying love. "I was wrong to push you away," one letter says, "but know that my love for you has never left, not for a single moment." Memories come rushing back. Snippets of her laughter as a child, time spent together, and the moment they drifted apart. With each letter, her resolve softens and her heart begins to open. For the first time in years, she allows herself to feel the emotions she had buried so deeply. She sees not just the mistakes he made, but the tremendous effort he put into reaching out. She begins to recognize the love behind every word he wrote. Through tears, she finally comes to a decision. The next day, she finds herself standing at the doorstep of her childhood home. Her heart races as she knocks. The door opens slowly, revealing her father, leaning on a cane. His eyes widen in disbelief. "Dad," she says softly, her voice trembling. He's stunned for a moment before they embrace in a flurry of tears. It's a long, tearful moment of reconciliation, a culmination of years of hope, longing, and love. They sit together in the living room, the wooden box of letters between them. She picks one up and begins to read it to him, her voice trembling but warm. He smiles faintly, tears glistening in his eyes. "You poured your heart into these," she says, holding one letter up, "every single one." "And it was worth it," he replies, gripping her hand tightly, "because it brought you back to me." The bond begins to mend, not in grand gestures, but in quiet moments of shared tea, laughter, and mutual understanding. The old man and his daughter sitting on the porch together, the sun setting behind them, painting the sky in warm hues. Sometimes bridges break, words are left unsaid, hearts grow distant, but love, true love, never gives up. It waits, it persists, and it shines through even the darkest years. This story reminds us, it's never too late to say, "I'm sorry," or "I miss you." It's never too late to reconnect. If this story inspired you, like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and don't forget to subscribe for more positivity.